I'd like to welcome you to Shift 2014. Our theme for this year is the enduring influence of newspapers.
I think what I'm hoping to learn is how news brands are really working as powerful content properties that consumers really engage with more than just average news content sources.
The joke writers and the pessimists say these really are desperate times for the newspaper industry, but I take a contrarian view. We are actually entering a golden age of journalism.
Jason from The Telegraph so far has stood out. I think he put together a brilliantly structured presentation that really engaged the audience.
Someday soon, we'll be able to offer news and entertainment in new ways, with experiences that will put the audience at the center of the story.
This was the strongest storm to ever reach landfall. And as you can see, the freedom to tell the story with these machines is absolutely incredible.
I did worry that newspapers might not evolve in the face of all this digital competition, and what they've actually done is they've really regrouped and they've focused around their core asset, which is brilliant content.
News is important, possibly one of the most important media experiences in consumers' lives, which is why they follow a range of topics and use a number of news providers to access them. The role of news brands is more central, more emotionally rooted, and more valued than any other news platform. This deep, long-lasting relationship is creating a more powerful and influential advertising environment, one which has a quantifiable impact on the power of the advertising within them to do its job.
Probably the most significant thing was Alan Rusbridger talking about how actually they made what was probably an irrational decision to really back the Snowden case.
So if I talk about Edward Snowden, I've never had a story like this where there has been such a deep emotional response to what we have written. But that's why we do it, because it says something distinctive about The Guardian. That's what journalism is about, and it's been wonderful to be part of an organisation that can lead people to smile and remember what journalism should be.
One session that particularly stood out for me was the one with Martin Sorrell.
If you're advising agencies now about how to build the influence of a particular brand,
yeah,
are there certain basic core principles about building influence?
We're getting people to coordinate our businesses. Sure, you want to build that brand. Sure, you want to advise them as to all the best things to do, and the most important thing is to invest in the right people, because that's the core of our business. You know, we invest $12 billion a year in people out of $18 billion of revenue, and the flip side of that is we only invest $500 million in capital equipment. So our investment is in human capital. Getting that right is you've got to do by brand.
That's how you build.
But bringing them together is critically important.
That John Lewis case study was brilliant. The ways in which they use news brands to take you through all of those different points, I thought that was fantastic and quite evolutionary actually. We don't hear that very often.
I think everyone that listened to that case study will think differently about the way in which John Lewis has achieved the success that it has.
I think news brands are actually as important to John Lewis as TV is, because it's a big brand active in a number of different categories, reaching out to a number of different audiences, and we spend double the amount, or we invest, should I say, double the amount of money into news brands than we do in TV. And that's partly down to the fact that for every pound that we invest into news, we deliver over £4 of profit back to the partnership.
All of these things, this is all print, online, it's news brands territory. This is the backbone of what's being done to actually drive this large and quite layered business forward.
Today is about influence. What we're trying to do here is make John Lewis commercially successful, and news brands are absolutely helping us with that.
Imagine what you would want to say to an audience of 20 million people. These are the questions we've put to the UK's creative and media agencies in our Day of Influence competition. And it's for you, the audience, now to decide who the winners will be. Who will win £300,000 of space across all of our platforms on a single day and get the fabulous trophy to take back to them to their agency.
we would be asking people to tweet in their best birthday memories with a chance to have it recreated courtesy of Warburton's. The campaign will finish with a winner being chosen by Warburton's and their birthday memory will be recreated.
By leveraging the unique scale and influence of the UK's premier news brands, we will reach and inspire 20 million people continuously throughout the day, raising awareness, participation and money for the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International.
The plan is to fill a plane with employees, intrepid customers and hopefully a few journalists who are going to create lots of amazing content which will then be used to promote the Philippines as a destination and also to highlight the work that charity partners are doing over there, supported by Expedia funding. The Day of Influence is the only way we can reach this audience with our message, otherwise this content will just live on Expedia's blog and will not benefit from exposure to the news brand audience of 20 million.
Brilliant. You've got your voting pads. Here we go. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote for your winner. And the winner is Frank.
I think all the three presentations were absolutely fantastic.
I am so pleased for Expedia, for the Philippines Tourist Board. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
I sense now a new vibrancy, a new confidence, a realisation that it really is news brands and not just newspapers.
I think they've been fantastic at responding to it by looking at new ways of reaching their audience.
I thought it was a really great event because I came away with a very clear sense of news brands and not newspapers.
It's actually turning into a great time for British news brands.